A scare at Polaris Fashion Place had customers wondering if there was gunfire or possibly a bomb threat. But what really happened had nothing to do with an attack. Thank you for joining us here just a little bit late for 10 TV News at 11. I'm Scott Light. Well, police were called out to the mall about 3:30 after several people reported hearing a loud pop. 10 TV Cierra Johnson joins us from Polaris with the actual cause of that noise.
Scott, that noise caused quite a scare at Polaris Mall earlier today. Witnesses I spoke to say it happened at a kiosk on the first floor. In Columbus, police say it was a small nitrogen explosion. Police say they received the first call around 3:30. Witnesses say many shoppers, unsure of what the sound was, took off running out of fear of an active shooter situation. CPD says the incident was actually the result of a teen placing nitrogen in a pop bottle that caused the explosion. A shopper we spoke with says the scene was unreal, and in the middle of trying on a pair of shoes, this mother said she grabbed her son and ran.
It was a big old boom. It kind of sounded like gunshots. So we seen people running, so we all just start running to the back as well. I actually fell trying to grab him, and I only had one shoe on, and we kind of got lost. I'm a little shaken up, but I'm glad that it wasn't a shooting and everybody's safe other than the person that got injured, but I'm still a little razzled.
Police say one person was transported after being hit with parts of that bottle following the explosion. In North Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
And just moments ago, we can tell you that Columbus police tweeted out that the incident saying that it, quote, charges to follow. Fans who couldn't make the trip to Boston, they are filling up Nationwide Arena tonight to watch the game there. 10 TV Cierra Johnson is there as the excitement builds in downtown Columbus. Cierra.
Hi, Scott. I can tell you I probably have the best seat in the house. When those doors opened, you heard cheering and you also heard the DJ play All We Do Is Win. That is the goal tonight. Those fans making their way in, getting their towels, and grabbing a seat. It's first come, first serve. Now, the stage is set. We have the concessions open. We have the DJ up top. We have everyone making their way in. The goal here is really to give it a game day atmosphere, minus obviously the team on the ice. So right now, we're going to introduce you to one of the people that really make this game what it is. We have a member of the Cannon crew. And we are going to make our way over here.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you? This is Dave. You may recall Dave. He is a super fan, obviously. But when the Jackets swept the series, he actually got a tattoo of Stinger. So he is famous here in Central Ohio. But as a member of the Cannon crew, why is holding a watch party so important?
The sheer number of fans that we're going to have in here alone to celebrate with us at an away game is absolutely insane. We've never done this before. It feels like we have a home game. Just watching all these people pour in, it's amazing.
And your hope for the game, what do you hope? What's the ticket, I guess, to winning?
This game is huge. I like to say everything that coach says because he knows everything. Back to basics. We just got to play our game, stick to the game plan, and we're going to be just fine.
Thank you so much. So good to see you. And it's safe to say they will have the fan support. They were giving out these rally towels. So as people make their way in, they get their towels and they will prepare to watch the Jackets take on Boston on the big screen. We'll be back at 11 to give you a rundown of how everything went here at Nationwide Arena. We're in downtown Columbus. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
All right, Cierra, thanks. You can tell they've got the organ plugged up as well at Nationwide Arena. We will have plenty more on the Blue Jackets. Forts is saying there will be a Game 7. You'll hear from him in just a few minutes as well. Blue Jackets fans are understandably disappointed with tonight's loss, but they're not giving up either. Let's check in with 10 TV Cierra Johnson. She's joining us from Nationwide Arena with reaction from the fifth line. Cierra?
Yeah, Scott, it was a tough loss on the road, but there's a little bit of good news here at Nationwide Arena. It's safe to say the first ever watch party here at the arena was a success. Take a look at the video. We were there as the doors opened at 6 o'clock. When those doors opened, 13,000 fans made their way inside. And tonight was really a home game experience with concession stands open, the Cannon crew on deck, and of course, the crowd favorite Leo with the national anthem. The only thing missing were the teams on the ice. For many fans, the sheer number of fans that turned out spoke volumes.
It shows you what this market can do and what this city is ready to do for hockey. We haven't had anything like this for as long as this team's been here. And you always, it's just seems like the same teams every year. You got to watch, but now we got a chance.
And those fans tell me it was a tough loss, but they're excited about what the arena had to put on tonight. It was a home game atmosphere with an away game. They're looking forward to more similar experiences in the future. We're live at Nationwide Arena. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
All right, Cierra, thank you. Hey, folks, join us Monday for live coverage of.
As detectives continue to investigate the tragedy in Genoa Township, first responders here in Central Ohio urging everyone to get a carbon monoxide detector. Columbus Fire Chief Steve Martin says in an instant, the colorless, odorless gas carbon monoxide could begin to sicken everyone in a home. The gas produced by the burning of fossil fuels can be found in everyday appliances, like ovens, generators, or gasoline-powered devices. Chief Martin says the best way to protect your family is by ensuring your home is equipped, performing routine maintenance checks on appliances like furnaces and dryers, and installing working CO detectors.
Carbon monoxide alarms are effective. It's important. They're not like smoke alarms that you have to have them close to the ceiling, because carbon monoxide can hang in a certain room. It's not going to move like smoke. And the other thing is to have one at least at the same level as your bedrooms, if not one in every bedroom. So you want to be able to hear it. If you're sleeping at night, you may not hear it go off in the basement. So you want to have one where it can wake you up as well.
First responders here downtown say if you feel there's carbon monoxide in your home or you feel your carbon monoxide detector may be malfunctioning, you are urged to call 911. In downtown Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
As you might imagine, tonight families across Central Ohio are checking and double-checking that their carbon monoxide detectors are in working order. And for some, the tragedy that played out in Genoa Township is a story that sounds familiar. 10 TV's Cierra Johnson sat down with a Columbus grandmother. She says if it weren't for a 911 dispatcher recognizing her symptoms, she wouldn't be here today.
I could feel myself being consumed. I mean, just consumed, where it was like a thing that felt like overpowerment.
Wanda Chambers says that feeling, one of both intense pain and lightheadedness, is one she will never forget.
It was so intense, I thought either I was having maybe a stroke or aneurysm.
But what Wanda didn't know is she was actually suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. A cracked furnace was leaking the colorless, odorless gas, all while Wanda and her two great-grandchildren worked to figure out what was wrong. They went to urgent care and were misdiagnosed with sinus infections and colds. But Wanda says a patient and knowledgeable 911 dispatcher was able to piece together their illness.
They had their monitors and they rushed upstairs, got my two grandkids, rushed them outside.
She says her heart breaks for that family just miles up the road. Police reports indicate the Ryder family experienced similar symptoms.
Heart goes out to the family, to their survivors.
Wanda's home is now equipped with several CO detectors, and her mission now, spread the word to anyone willing to listen. One simple device could potentially save your life.
You know, I'll stop people on the street. I don't care. You know, if the conversation comes up, and I'll ask them, do you have a carbon monoxide monitor?
In Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
2 people are injured after a car crashed through a home in Pickerington. This happened around 6:30 along West Columbus Street. 10 TV Cierra Johnson is there with how this happened.
Take a look at the extensive damage done to this Pickerington home. You can see broken windows and shattered bricks. That's because this Pickerington family says a car came off of the road and drove right into the center of their home. The homeowner's daughter tells us the family had just finished dinner and the son was beginning to work in the flower bed out front when they heard a crash and a boom. The loud noise was a silver car that drove off of West Columbus Street and into the front yard, taking out a flagpole and crashing straight into the house. A man was pinned between the car and the home. He was transported to Mount Carmel East. But the man's mother says she's thankful for the quick thinking action by some neighborhood kids.
There were some kids walking down the street and I hollered at them and they came over and cut the rope off the flagpole and made a tourniquet to put on his leg. And then a couple minutes the squad was here.
The speed limit on this residential street is 25 miles per hour. A family member of the man injured says he is currently in surgery with damage to one of his legs. No word yet on the condition of the driver. She was also transported to a local hospital. In Pickerington, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Also, in observance of Memorial Day, the National Veterans Memorial and Museum is hosting a weekend full of events to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. 10 TV's Cierra Johnson is live to explain what you can expect this weekend and the emotional story being told in less than 30 minutes from now. Cierra?
Yeah, Scott, Vets Memorial does have several special events this week. If you take a look behind me, folks are making their way in. That's because in 30 minutes, a special speaker, Ohio native Master Staff Sergeant Jennifer Laredo, will discuss her life of service and handling the loss of her spouse service member, Staff Sergeant Eduardo Laredo, who was killed in Afghanistan while she was serving. Organizers of today's event say this holiday weekend often marks the start of summer, but they are hoping Central Ohioans take their celebrations a bit further by stopping to recognize the lives lost fighting for our nation.
Everywhere across America as we travel, someone says, thanks for your service. It would be significant for them to understand the full range of what that service is, from leaving home and having deployments and missing birthdays to the really significant part of what Memorial Day stands for.
And yes, this event is expected to be an emotional tell. Again, it begins in about 25 minutes. There are also several events tomorrow starting at 10 a.m., including a service to honor the Gold Star families as well as those who have passed in service. We're live downtown. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
And that museum is a stunner. 6:30. Time is running out for you last-minute shoppers looking to get mom something for her day, for Mother's Day. 10 TV's Cierra Johnson is at Market Blooms in the North Market, where, as you might imagine, there's a rush on flowers tonight. Right, Cierra?
Yeah, Scott, there's a bit of a lull right now because we are approaching closing time, but throughout the day, this area has been packed with folks from across Central Ohio searching for that perfect gift, and they found their way here to Market Bloom. They've been swamped, putting together arrangements and helping guests pick those perfect tulips or peonies. The owner here at Market Bloom tells me this is the second busiest time of the year for her and most florists, with Valentine's Day, of course, taking the cake for busiest day. Many shoppers I spoke with say flowers are really their go-to gift.
Who doesn't love flowers? And it's just an easy, simple thing to do. It's a phone call or a click just to, reward your mother. Most of the sales happen on Friday and Saturday, but tomorrow there's not a lot of flower shops open in the city on Sundays, but we are. So at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, there'll be a line at the door.
And if you haven't gotten mom anything yet, you do have a little bit of time to stop and smell the roses. The folks here at Market Bloom are open until 7 and will reopen tomorrow morning. We're live at North Market. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
All right, Cierra, thanks. We did.
Well, some big changes are coming on how the SAT test is evaluated. The test, which is scored from 400 points to 1,600 points, will soon feature an additional number, an adversity score, or a score based on a student's home life and environment, which also is being calculated and submitted. But as 10 TV's Cierra Johnson explains, this news has many unsure about the broader impact on students.
Feels like it's all dependent on the type of person that does well on those types of assessment measures.
PhD student Ariel Rawson says she remembers the pressure of taking standardized tests. Nearly a decade later, she says she isn't sold on whether it was a true reflection of her academic ability.
And I think it's really important to take account of more holistic set of factors in determining students' capacity.
In a time when college admissions are struggling with taking that holistic approach and facing backlash of a scandal embroiled with privilege, a bombshell announcement from the makers of the SAT. A new score called the adversity score is being added to the equation. The goal? Attempt to achieve a more equal playing field. According to a CBS report, the new score takes 15 factors into consideration, including factors of the student's neighborhood environment, family environment, and high school environment. Those factors, like the number of AP courses offered at a high school, home crime rate, and a parent's education level, is then converted to a score of 1 to 100, with 50 being average and 50 plus representing hardship. A score that will be used at 150 institutions this year, with plans to expand to more in the future.
Going ahead and giving a number without context. And I think that's a slippery slope right there.
Bethany Schweitzer, owner of the college prep company College Ready, says many in her industry were blindsided by the move. She says until the first cycle of admissions are made using the new score, she's unsure of its domino effect. Right now, after doing some research, she's simply left with more questions and unsure if the attempt to right a wrong is doing more harm than good.
How should it be used, I think, if they're going to use it at all? And is it something we should really leave up to the SAT to determine?
And it is important to note the college advisor I spoke to says the ACT remains the more popular college admission exam. She says at this point it's really a waiting game to see how colleges react to the addition of this new score and whether or not there will be any backlash from the parents or those institutions. Jerry?
All right, thanks a lot there.